Bismillah Rahman Rahim. So students, as I told you last week, today we are going to have a discussion on personal statements, and specifically personal statements that can make committees swing. Now, what do I mean by making a committee swing? See, in any committee, when the selection process is taking place, there are a number of people. Now, let's say some people are impressed with your personal essay. We will just look in detail. We're going to discuss in detail what a personal statement actually should do. What is the function of the personal statement? But let's say you've presented a personal statement, and there are some people on the admission committee who are convinced that you are the right candidate. Let's say there's a committee of 4. Two people are convinced, one is not convinced, okay, and there is one person who is undecided. His vote really matters, okay. So if his vote goes on the other side against you, then the committee is tied. But your job should be to ensure that the undecided people are convinced and they swing in your direction. So you should write a personal statement accordingly. You should write a very convincing personal statement. Your first objective should be that the committee should vote in favor of you unanimously, okay. And when will they do that? That is something that we are going to see. But that should be the purpose of your statement. Please keep in mind, whenever you are talking about writing, okay, whenever you're talking about writing, you're talking about effective writing. We don't just say, we just don't say write, we say write effectively, okay. Now, what do you mean by effectively? What is effective? When something is effective, when a piece of writing is effective, when a piece of communication is effective, when a piece of administration is effective, it means that it gets the desired result. Something is effective when it gets the desired result. I say stand up and you keep sitting. That's a failure of communication. No matter how good my English is, no matter how advanced my method of communication was, I communicated an instruction to you and I failed to get the requisite response. If you fail to get the desired result, then your communication is not effective. What is the job of your personal essay? The job of your personal essay is to present yourself as a desirable candidate, not an ideal candidate. There's no such thing as ideal. You are a desirable candidate for the university, and you're also a desirable candidate for their scholarship funds. So if you can do that, if your personal statement can do that, then your personal statement is effective. And if not, then your communication has been ineffective. Now, I'm going to say again what I've always said. And that is, sorry, it's a Sunday, so I have to have some tea as I talk. So, do all colleges and all universities give equal importance to personal essays? No. No, the simple answer is no. If you're applying to a country like the United States, which has over 5,000 universities, every university is not going to give the same importance to personal statements. But if you're applying to England, then a personal statement is important because you have to put that in UCAS. But today we are not discussing the British personal statement. If you want to see how a British personal statement is written in, if a personal statement is written in the British style, then go and watch my video. I have discussed every possible thing in there. But the American personal statement is different. The American personal statement is unique because it revolves around a story. So we are going to discuss that very, very soon. So when you are applying to a college in the United States, there are two types of colleges. The first are those that require a personal statement and where the personal statement is very important and where the personal statement actually becomes the clinching document. The second are those that do not require. So it's not equally important. However, in top secret, personal statements are always required. Okay, and personal statements are required to be written very, very effectively so that they make you stand out. Now, how do you stand out? In a university like California, in a university like Harvard, in a university like Brown, how do you stand out? That is the real challenge. Okay, there is no one set formula that the thing should be written, this should be written in it, and this should not be written in it. There is no set formula. But there is a formula. There is something that makes a personal statement a personal statement. And what is that? In a personal statement, let's look at the things that are not required in a personal statement. You have submitted your A level results. The admission committee has your A level results right in front of them. So why would you put your A level result in the personal statement again? There's no need. I have that right in front of me. One of the worst things that you can do to yourself is repeat yourself. Okay, did you see the presidential debate? If you saw the presidential debate recently, there were two candidates. No one came across as exceptionally intelligent, but there was one person, one candidate who did a pretty bad job. And why did he do a pretty bad job? He was constantly repeating himself, repeating himself. Don't repeat yourself.
Sir, I think we have lost your audio. You're not audible, sir. I think there might be a problem with the sir's connection. If you would just hold on for a moment, I think he'll be back in a few minutes. You're back.
You hear me now?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay, I'll go over this again. What I was saying is uh, that when you apply to let me go over this again. As I said, that we do not have equally competitive universities, and there are some universities that will not require you to submit a personal statement at all. However, those universities that are competitive, those universities which give high scholarships, in those universities, you have to give personal statements, more than one in many cases, and they have to be good. There is a main personal statement, and then there are supplementary personal statements. These personal statements are very important, and I'll tell you why they are important. If you have, let's say, you are applying to Yale University. Now try and understand one thing. In Yale University, if your parents' annual income is less than $70,000 a year, $70,000 a year, the university will give you a full scholarship, 100%, provided you prove to them that you deserve to be admitted in Yale University. And that is the case with many universities, not just in America, but around the world. Okay? Now, try and understand the process. What is the admission process? The admission process is you submit your O level result. Let's say your O level result is 8 A's. Very good. On the basis of that, the university will not reject you, but it will not accept you either. They will look at the next thing. The next thing is your A level result. You have 4 A's in A level or 3 A's in A level. Very good. They will not reject you, but they will not accept you either. Then they will look at your SAT. Then they will look at your extracurricular activities. Sir, I have done this extracurricular activity. Sir, I have done that activity. So what? So what? What did you do in that? How did that activity impact you as a human being? At the end of the day, what did you do to enhance your abilities, your skills? How did you help others? Very, very important. What values did it inculcate in you? Very, very important. Okay. Let's say you are playing football. Now, when you are playing football or soccer as it's called in the United States, there have to be activity outcomes for that. What are the outcomes? Now, that is the job, that is your job. In most cases, it is the job of the teacher or the coach or to keep an eye on you and see how you are developing. But in any case, it's your job too. How did you develop? Because once you write down or you understand what you achieved from football as a human being, did it make you into a better sportsman? Did it give you a better sportsman spirit? Did it give you a better competitive streak? Or did it make you a better collaborator with others? From the same activity, the takeaways are different. You need to know what your takeaway was. And then, so extracurricular, you need to work, but you always need to keep asking yourself the question, what am I doing this for? And what am I gaining out? I did community work. All right, you did community work. So what? What did you get out of that? You did 40 hours of community service. By the way, 40 hours of community service is something that all A levels should do. But then the committee will look into this. Did you do those 40 hours in a rush fashion towards the end of A level just because you wanted to apply? Or you did that over a period of time? So if you did over a period of time, that shows your value. It shows that you were committed to your work. You just did not do it rush. You did not rush it. You did not do it hastily just to put it in your application, your college application. So that is very important. You need to show commitment to something. Commitment is one thing that they will see. I'll go to the parts of the college essay very soon, but this is what they are looking for. I did community work. I did this. How do you interact with people in groups? Please keep in mind there is no problem with a person.
who does not want to interact with other people. There's no problem at all. Okay, your personality must come across. Okay, this is the kind of person I am, and this is my advantage. I don't interact with people, and that's what helps me. Okay, that's what helps me. So if you can write that about yourself and make yourself stand out. Everyone likes to interact with everybody else. I don't. But don't be egregious. Don't stand out in a bad way. Stand out in a good. Okay, so that's your selling point. Okay, so I'm good academically. We know you are good academically. I got 100%. By the way, if you're applying to a university like Yale, you need 100% in all. You need 100% result in O level. You need 100% result in A level. You need 100% result in SAT. You need 100% everywhere. Okay, but even then, the decision is not made on the basis of these results. The decision is made on the basis of your personal statement. Okay, because I am not hiring grades. I am not giving admission to your grades. I'm not giving admission to your O level performance. I'm not giving admission to your SAT. I'm giving admission to the human being that you are. So in the personal statement, please tell me what kind of human being are you? Okay, so you have to write an essay. Now, please write down or note down what are the things that they are looking for in your personal essay. Number one, in your personal essay, the thing that should come across is your purpose. Why are you doing what you are doing? Okay, when I interview people, I hardly ever come across anyone who has given me their purpose. What is the purpose of your activities? What is your purpose in life? No one gives me a straight answer to that. Okay, purposes do not come from textbooks. They do not come from syllabi. They come from your dreams. They come from what you are thinking about to make the world around you a better place. So I cannot tell you what your purpose is. That is something that you need to determine yourself. And the purpose is unique to every person. It's just as unique as the fingerprints or the designs in your eye. It's unique to everyone. I cannot give anyone a purpose. That's why I cannot write anybody's personal statement. So if you get your personal statement written by somebody else, you're positioning yourself for rejection, because the committee is so smart. They are going to read and they will understand that this personal statement was not written by you. The second thing is your leadership skills. You have held a position in as the president of a society. So what? So what? I mean, there are so many people when I go to universities, when I go to presentations, this is the speaker and he has done a job in the World Bank. So, like, am I supposed to be impressed? He has done a job in the World Bank. Am I supposed to be impressed? He's done a job in the World Bank for himself. Okay, you have gone to a big place, you have worked in a big bank, you have worked very hard. That's for yourself. Maybe that's your personal gain or something like that. How does it affect the people around you? What good does it do to people around you? I have worked in the. Do you know that often Robert McNamara was a Secretary of State, and when he was not performing very well as Secretary of State, he was sent to the head. He was made the head of the World Bank as a punishment. And there was another person much later on. Same thing happened to him. And people here come and say, I worked in the World Bank. People become presidents of the World Bank because they are not performing well in other capacities. So they're often sent to the World Bank as punishment. People here don't know that. So you can come here and say that, please get impressed with me. I worked in the World Bank. Okay. And just go and look at the history of people coming from the World Bank and what disasters they have done in this country. So if you've been the president of something, You don't need to show your managerial position that you've occupied. You need to show what leadership skills do you bring to the show. And leadership is three things. One, are you able to look at reality from the other person's point of view? A leader has to have a keen interest, an obsessively keen interest in what other people see as important, what is important to them. Okay, what is important to them? That is what you need to know. Do you know, as president of your society, how many members there are in your society and what is important to them? Can you write that in your personal statement that this is what I found, these were their concerns, these were their fears? If you can't do that, you're not a leader. Okay, second thing, how much have you worked for the children in your organization? The children here means your juniors. Okay, in a political leadership, if you are a political leader, if you are a prime minister, then your effectiveness is judged by four things. How much have you worked for orphans? How much have you worked for those who are mentally not sound? How much have you worked for those who are physically not sound? Okay, so why do we look at these things? Because these are those sections of society that cannot vote for you. So your sincerity as a leader is gauged by working for people who are your compatriots, who live in your country, but who cannot vote for you. That's the sign of a great leader. So are you becoming that kind of leader? Have you worked for people who are below you, who are of no consequence to you, who can't harm you, who can't keep you in power? What have you done for your juniors? Exactly have you done for your juniors? So that's the second sign of a leader, and that is something that you have put in your personal statement. And the third sign of a leader is how much did he improve the societies that he inherited? What did he do? How did you make things better? I don't see, in tangible terms, presidents of societies doing anything to make those societies more effective when they leave that society. I mean, when you came and when you are going, what change did you effect? Nothing. Nothing. There's no change that students have done. So even you have not done that, I participated in that. You did that for yourself. You participated in that. You did that for yourself. You didn't do that for the organization that you were leading. A leader has to leave his mark. Now, I can say that as an ethical homily to you, but this is not an ethical homily. This is something that you actually have to put in your personal statement if you want a scholarship. So you have to be selfless if you are selfish. That is the great irony here. Okay, so that is one. Now, please keep in mind the American format of the personal statement is very different from the British format for a reason. There is a reason. Now, what happens in America, which is so different from England? America is a very big country compared to the UK. England is small, America is very big. So what used to happen in America was that, especially in Southern America, Southern United States, there used to be big plantations. And in those days, there was no career counseling. There were no careers. If you're born in a certain society, you will pursue a certain career. If you're born in a farming family, you will become a farmer. So there were big farms and there were big families. People used to have a lot of children, and these children used to work throughout the day, spread across the farms, which are very, very huge. And in the evening, what used to happen was everyone used to come together for dinner. So on dinner, at dinner time, everyone. So till this day in America, there's a saying: imagine the tension on across the dinner table. Why? Because they come together on the dinner table and they discuss everything that happened throughout the day. So what happened? There are 8 children, and every child had to tell a story. Today this happened, today that happened. And while he spoke, everybody had to listen. Because when you have done an adventure throughout the day, you're very keen to tell the other person what happened, but you're not very keen to listen. So the rule was everybody had to tell a story. And
Sir, we have lost your audio again.
yeah, I'm really sorry about these connectivity problems. We are having some issues with the internet. So where did I stop, Mustafa?
You were talking about the farmer's family and how they have to come together at the end of every day to talk about their adventure, and everybody has
So
to
so
listen.
so so that is the situation. In that situation, what happens is that storytelling becomes very important. You have to, this happened and this is how I react. So you cannot say I was very brave. Instead of saying I was very brave, you can simply say a snake came slithering along and I moved forward and I helped the animals get away and I warned the other children. And at the same time, I tried to face it so that it could not move any further than it already was. This story brings your characteristics out. It brings out the fact that you are uh, it brings out the fact that you are a brave person. You know how to deal with you are compassionate, you know how to deal with children, and you know how to control the herd. Like three qualities you just explained in one line. So another thing that happens in a personal statement, I want to do AI. Okay, and the student just keeps explaining the uh, the characteristics of it. I was very intrigued. Don't use those hackneyed words now. Intrigued is a word that is very commonplace now. I have always been intrigued. What do you mean by you've always been intrigued? What does always mean? There are certain words that are very pointillistic. Okay, always has a different meaning for you. As it has a different meaning for me. Okay, I have been always intrigued. Since when have you been intrigued? That would help me better. You were not intrigued the moment you were born. You were not born saying AI is great, that's why I came in this world. Okay, so why were you intrigued? And don't use the word intrigue. Okay, it's a very it's a word that has constantly been used forever since I can think of. No, use something else. Make it new, make it different. Everyone is using. In the last 10 days, I have read the word intrigue 20 times, and I'm not intrigued by that anymore.
Sir, we have a question.
Okay, who has a question?
We have a question that can your ambition be to pursue a profession? That be your sole purpose?
Again, when you were saying ambition, okay, again,
I'll
when you were
repeat. I'll
saying
repeat the question.
ambition,
The question is, can your ambition to pursue a profession be your sole purpose?
no, it can't be a complete purpose. It's not a complete purpose. This is not your purpose in life. Your purpose in life is not to pursue. Is not to pursue a certain thing. Uh, that's not the purpose of life. You're reducing the purpose of life to a profession. What happens if tomorrow that field completely vanishes? Where will your purpose go? Then you will be purposeless? No. A higher purpose, a purpose is usually higher than a profit. You just don't have to aim for a higher profit. You have to aim for a higher purpose of life. What is the purpose of your life? Like let me give you an example. There were many people. There was one certain person who wanted to become a leader, and he wanted to become the head of a party, and he wanted to become the prime minister. He was German. In Germany, they call it chancellor. But his purpose was to ensure understand what I'm saying. He went into business. He made a lot of money. He got into politics. He became the head of his party. Those were all his objectives. He became head of the country. That is an objective. But what was the purpose? His purpose was he was doing all this with the ultimate purpose of ensuring that Germany became a full member of the world community and of the European community. And that's why, because of his vision, so many people want to go to Germany today. And that's why Germany is such a strong economy, because he had that purpose. He had that vision. The purpose is something that around which all activities of your life revolve. So you need to discover your purpose in life. Okay. Now, when you are writing your personal statement, as I said, writing about AI, writing about computers, writing about astrophysics, don't give me details. When I read your personal statement, when I read personal statements, I become so educated about computer science. I become so educated about physics. I become so educated about traveling. I don't become educated about the person writing the essay. Okay. Don't give me details on AI. Don't give me details about your profession. Don't give me details about your friends. Don't give me details about your family. They're all important. Give me an understanding about you. Who are you? And when I say who are you, then that includes all those factors. What is your purpose? What is your vision? What are your leadership skills? What is your commitment to community? What are your values? Okay, these things are very, very. The problem with human beings is that when they live with someone constantly, they don't appreciate that person. You live with your parents day in and day out. You don't appreciate them. You don't try to understand them. You just assume you know. Parents also make that mistake. Parents make the they know their children. No, you don't. Who told you you knew your children? The child who was born and the child at 10 are completely different human beings. Why are you assuming that you know your child? Just because you live with your child throughout, he grows in front of you, you think you know him a lot. You don't know him. And the person that is always with me, always, is myself. So I always think I know myself a lot. No, that's not the case. Sit down and write 2 pages about yourself and you will realize how little you know about yourself. And that's what the personal statement does. The personal statement is write about yourself. Who are you? Who are you? What are your values? What is your purpose? Okay? No one knows their purpose. It's very unfortunate. No one knows their purpose these days. Okay, especially here, especially in this country. Everyone assumes they are right. How do you know you are right? What is the yardstick? Okay, 10 people think, take 10 people. 10 people will have 10 very different value sets. 10 people will have very different ways of doing things. 10 people will have completely different habits, and all 10 will be convinced they are going to heaven. I cannot understand such a heaven where everyone is going. Heaven has to be very selective, and they are all convinced they are going to heaven. They are all on the right path. It doesn't work like that. You need to know yourself, and you need to express yourself. So your personality comes out in the context of things. Why do you think we do not leave the world and go and spend our lives meditating in the mountains? Why? Because if we meditate in the mountains, our personalities will never come out. The good in us will never come out, and the bad in us will never come out. We will never be able to identify and understand ourselves. So I was going through this personal statement with one student, and this is a good personal statement. I will share this. Okay, this I've taken from Ethan Sawyer's website. So this is a personal statement about a student who lived through the Arab Spring. Okay, if you don't know what the Arab Spring is, Google it. The Arab Spring started in 2010. It is an incident in which in Tunisia there was a seller of vegetables who got into an argument with the police, and the police mistreated him, and then he set himself on fire. That incident led to a revolution in Tunisia, and from there the revolution spread to all Arab countries. It's a very bad part of history. Millions, thousands died in this. So, but this essay is about the start of the Arab Spring. Okay, so just listen to this. How he is. My brothers and I were showing off our soccer dribbling skills in my grandfather's yard. Okay, look, there are three ways of starting an essay. One thing which you also have to show in your essay is your writing, expression, and English skills. So for that, you need to read a lot. Okay, reading is something that you cannot do without. I don't know, these days students don't read, but your reading is very important. Okay, so now I need to know about you. That's the purpose of the personal essay. The purpose of the personal essay is for me to know about you. Okay, now look at this. My brother and I were showing off our soccer dribbling skills in my grandfather's yard. The sentence is not complete. This is not even the completion of the first sentence. So as I was saying, sorry, you start a personal statement either by an anecdote. You start an essay either with an anecdote, or with a quote, or with a short, crisp, interesting sentence. These are the three ways of starting. Now, the modern style of writing, the more stylish style of writing is you start with a short, interesting, crisp sentence. The first two are basically outdated. Okay. You need the hook. In the first sentence, you need the hook. You need to catch the attention of the reader. Okay, something is going on. My brothers and I were showing off our soccer dribbling skills in my grandfather's yard. The sentence is not even complete. It's half a sentence, but I've learned so much about the person writing it. My brothers, he has brothers. He has siblings. He's not the only child. And I was showing off our soccer dribbling skills. He is good at soccer. He plays football, and he plays it so well that he's become good at dribbling. So it gives me the impression that he has been playing soccer consistently for a long period of time. And that's what I'm looking for, consistency. Sentence not complete. Three things I've already learned about him. Okay. Now, what is the third thing? He's close to his grandfather. And when we heard gunshots and screaming in the distance, oh, that makes it a hook. Something is going on. And it also tells me something about him in a peaceful area. He was not living in an area which was secure. So I've learned so much about him. Okay, in just one sentence. We paused and listened. We paused and listened. What does that mean? It means that this student, this person does not ignore things around him. He pauses and listens. He's a curious person. What's going on? So you don't have to say, I'm a curious person. Simply say, I paused and listened. I've learned so much about him. Okay. We had only heard on the news and movies, oh, he's a movie watcher and he's a news watcher. He watches movies, his interests are movies, but he's also interested in current affairs. My God, in 2 sentences, he's given me 8 things about him. 8 things I've learned about him from his first 2 sentences. And this is only a hook. Okay. My mother rushed out of the house and ordered us in. So the mother rushed out of the house. She did not ask them to come in. They ordered them to come in. Probably he comes from a matriarchal society where mothers have a lot of authority over the children, and he is obedient. Okay. The Arab Spring had come to Bahrain. Bahrain is a small country near Saudi Arabia where the Arab Spring, the revolution came, and it was a very bad situation. I learned to be alert. What did you learn from that? What did you learn from the events around you? Did you learn anything from the events happening in your city? What did you learn? Did you learn anything staying in Pakistan? Did you learn anything? I'm not asking you. Go and ask your parents. Go and ask your parents. They grew up in the 1980s and 90s. Do they remember what happened in the 1990s and 80s in Karachi? What did they learn? Go and ask your elders. What did they learn? Did you learn anything? If you're writing a personal essay, you have to write what you learned living in your city. Okay, I learned to be alert to the rancid smell of tear gas. There used to be a lot of tear gassing in Karachi. There used to be a lot of firing in Karachi when I was growing up. Okay, so these things are unknown to you, but they are not unknown at all to me. Okay, I'm very familiar with these scenes. Its stench would waft through the air before it invaded my eyes. Waft through the air is good English. So look for some words which are not exotic, but which are appealing. Okay, you urging me inside before they started to sting. Newspaper front pages constantly showed images of bloodied clashes, made worse by Molotov cocktails. Excellent, excellent expression. Again, I'm learning so much about it. He lived in an era where newspapers had nothing to show except violence. So throughout the 1980s and 1990s, this was the situation of newspapers in Karachi as well, by the way. Okay. Splashed on the front page were bloodied corpses and horrible scenes of carnage. Okay, so people don't write about them. People have forgotten about them, as if they never happened. Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. And that's exactly what we're doing. You going into university, they want you to be wise people, not educated, not well-read, but wise. Wise people are those who do not repeat their mistakes. Whether they learn from their mistakes or not, you will read a lot. People learn. I did not make mistakes. I got learning exercises. No. Whether you learned or you did not learn, that's second. The main thing is that a wise person will never repeat his mistakes. Martial law was implemented, so he understands what martial law is. He understands what a monarchy is. He understands what forms of government are. Because if you are a 17-year-old and you know the difference between martial law and democratic setup, then you are aware of what's going on. Okay, you are a well-read person. So that's one more thing that I learned about him. Martial law was implemented. Roaming tanks became a common sight. On my way to school, I nervously passed burning tires and angry protesters. He is, what is he doing? He is showing us what is going on. Okay, he is actually making us live through that in a sense. He is trying to make us see through his eyes what he saw. Okay, and that's a very good way of writing. And one thing that you will notice in this essay is no exotic words, no difficult words. It's very straightforward. But every line I'm learning something about him or his background. On my way to school, I nervously passed. Okay, you need to put adverbs and adjectives to make your writing more appealing. Through burning tires and angry protesters shouting, Yaskut Hamad, down with Hamad, the ruler. Bahrain, known for its palm trees. Oh, pearls. I just did not live in Bahrain. I knew about Bahrain. I was always interested in things around me. Okay, I was not in my cocoon. I knew what Bahrain is. I knew the beauty of Bahrain. Do you know the beauty of Karachi? Do you know what Karachi is known for? Do you know about your country? If you know about your country, your chances of being respected by your admission committee go up by a factor of 10. Please keep in mind. People who go around and talk bad about their country, bad mouth about their country, I want to run from my country. Leaders don't run. What kind of leaders are they crafting where everyone wants to run from the country? If you say, I'm going to run from the country, they're not going to respect you at all. The sign of a leader is he stands up and says, bring out your worst. I'll bring out my best. Now, what kind of thinking is this? There is inflation in the country, so I'm leaving the country. There's this in the country, there's taxes in the country, this corruption in the country, so I'm leaving the country. So what kind of a leader are you? Leaders don't turn around and run with their tails between the legs. So the only home I had known was now a place where I learned to fear. Many foreigners who go into Arab countries, they live there. They are born there. They grow up there. Same is true of foreigners, Western people going in Africa. So this tells us that this guy has a long-standing relationship with, and he actually appreciates Bahrain. He actually loves Bahrain. And that is, well, which place do you love? That never comes across in a personal statement. When I read a person, it never comes across. No one shows any love for Karachi. No one shows any love for Pakistan. No one shows any love. I love it. What a country. What a beautiful place. No one talks like that. Everyone talks about the profession. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to make money. You want to make money? Fair enough. No one is impressed. Everyone wants to make money. Okay. So the only home I had ever known was a place. 2.5 years after the uprising, the events were still not a distant memory. I decided the answer to fear was understanding. So this is one very important. They want to know how you respond to fear and to emotions. So especially fear, how you overcome your fears. And Americans usually, their answer to tragedy is hard work. The answer to tragedy is not ceremony. Please keep that in mind. The answer to tragedy is usually hard work. What will I do to change the situation so that this tragedy does not repeat itself? That's the idea. Okay, so fear was understanding. I began to analyze the events and actions. Analysis. I'm an analytical person. I began to analyze the events and actions that led to the upheaval of the Arab Spring. In my country, religious and political tensions were brought to light as the Shia, who felt underrepresented and neglected within the government, challenged the Sunnis. Okay? Usually we do not write about religious and political issues. But sometimes when things are very pressing, then you can talk about these sensitive issues, but in a very empathetic way. Okay, you don't have to attack any community. Please keep in mind there are good and bad people everywhere. Okay, and what bad people do is they convince you that in one community there are only bad people, and in your community there are only good people, or in your community there are only bad people, other community no, there are good and bad people everywhere. You will get the worst of the worst, and you will get the best of the best. So, but here he has spoken about it. This is exactly what happened. Okay, challenge those who were thought to be favored for positions of power. I wanted equality and social justice. So what is the solution to the problems that we have? The solution. Now you are giving a solution. You are not just he did not harp on the problem. He did not just say there was a problem. He said there has to be a solution, and solution is social justice. When Pakistan was created, go and look at all the speeches of Quaid-e-Azam of the religion. He spoke only two words: equality of man and social justice. These are the two things on which Pakistan will be built, and there are two things equally that will destroy Pakistan, finish Pakistan, eat away Pakistan. And those two things were nepotism and bribery. Not the British and the Indians, not the Israelis, not the Americans. There are two things that are going to kill you. The Quaid-e-Azam said that on August 11, 1947. He addressed all Pakistanis and said there are two things you have to stay away from. Okay, because these two things will definitely kill you, finish you off. Those things are bribery, number one, nepotism. Okay, and these are the two things that we embraced. And the two things that we did not embrace were social justice and equality of all Pakistanis. Okay, so I did not want the violence to escalate any further. Now, that's care for your country. I don't want this to happen. Why is violence? So this shows that you are not a person who likes violence. You are not a person. A leader should not add oil to the fire. He should not fan the flames of hatred. A leader is a person who tries to suppress a problem, who tries to solve a problem, who tries to suppress a dangerous situation, diffuse a dangerous situation. Okay, those who say maro, todo, phodo, they are not leaders. They are rebel rousers, yes, but they're not good leaders. Okay, so now he brings in certain things immediately. Now he's spoken a little bit about that and his thinking and how he saw it. Analytical. Please say, if you're talking about, look, if you're talking about AI, how are you analyzing it? How are you analyzing the changes that are coming about in coding? That will show me your understanding and what kind of person you are and what you are thinking. He has done MUNs. So now he says, how does he bring his MUN? As an MUN delegate, I saw global problems from perspectives other than my own. See, understanding. You look at situation from the other person's perspective and use my insight to push for compromise. I'm a person who likes to strike a compromise. I debated human rights violations in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict from Israel's perspective. How does Israel look at it? Okay, you just don't talk to your friends. You talk to your enemies as well. Now, of course, this essay was written long before October 7th, before the criminal extermination of Palestinians that Israelis did and are doing. So we cannot support that in any case. When a war starts, then no understanding is possible. Then we have to side with our people. We have to side with the Palestinians, yes. But when you are negotiating, you have to look at things from the other person's perspective as well, especially when you are the weaker part. The stronger can afford. The wise thing is for the weaker people to look at reality from the other person's perspective as well, because they are weak. The stronger can afford to ignore that. Okay, so he's a Muslim and he is looking at it from the other person's perspective as well. He's looking at it from his perspective, but never give up your own perspective. Keep that in mind. You are a Muslim, you are a Palestinian sympathizer. Don't give up your point of view. This is your principle. Don't give that up. But look at it from the other person's perspective as well, because you are a person who wants to bring about peace. So argued whether Syrian refugees would be allowed entry into neighboring European countries, then they created resolutions for each problem. Okay, so this is the example of a good personal statement, one in which a lot of issues have been covered, and the personality of the person also comes out. Now, I chose this because this personal statement is related to a political issue. And in such an essay, the description of the political issue is very important. So even when he's describing the political issue, in his description, his personality is coming up. So I hope that you will keep these points in mind. Leadership, your purpose in life, your vision, your values, your commitment, your family values, your relationship with your peers, your relationship with your uh, with your parents. Another very, I'll give you an example of which it was about a student who was interested in canoeing. You know what canoeing is? Canoeing takes place in Canada mainly. A canoe is a boat. It's a boat, and there's a round point of entry into the boat, and the person just squeezes in, and they usually sail against the current. And while they are sailing, they flip themselves, go down in the water, and then take a 360-degree turn, and they come back to their same position while they are moving forward. So it's quite a dangerous game as well. So this person, he spoke about when he was canoeing, he saw that one of his friends had met with an accident. So he writes that he was canoeing around against the current again. He went, he rescued him, he took him to the to a safe place. And when he went back into the race, the current actually favored him, and he immediately caught up, and he ended up winning the race. So what does this incident tell me? It tells me that he's a compassionate person. He's not a selfish person. It tells me that he's very good at canoeing. It tells me that he can ride against the current. It tells me that he has his values include empathy. It tells me that he cares for his friends. A lot of points in his personality to come out through this one incident. So please write a story. In a short story, you narrate the events, and then from the events, the personality emerges. Okay, and in this story, it is your personality that must emerge. Okay, so I will be expecting you people to send me your personal essays uh, like this. I will share more essays with you as well, and you can send me so that I can check them and I can share with you.
Sir,
Okay.
can we cover how we should explain our values in our personal essays again?
Again, your values, first you need to jot down what your values are. Is your value justice? Do you believe in justice? Do you believe in honesty? Do you believe? And then through a story, and how you upheld those values. For example, like I'll give you an example. I have been approached many times by people to nominate students who otherwise do not deserve a nomination. Okay, but you know, but I have had to resist that because that is not my value. I don't. Okay, so has anyone ever approached you in your family? Um, you can tell that in the in a story that someone approached you, but he did not have the he was not cut out for that position, or he did not deserve that position, or something like that. Honesty, and anything. Okay, for you, look, for that you will have to read uh, several sample person statements, and you need to decide first what you need to put in your person statement. These values should be there, but what values you will put into your personal statement specifically, and then you will elaborate on them, write on them, and then read sample person statements, how the other person has written, and then you can put your own story. Reading is important. Anything else? Any other question? Okay,
I
thank you
think
very much. So in the coming week, I will be busy with the career fest. So that's why I wanted to have this meeting today. Now in the coming week, let's to try to everyone try to make draft, because personal statement cannot be written in the first draft. It cannot be finalized. The first draft is not the final draft. So you will have to make 4 to 5 drafts. Ask yourself the question, what do I want to include in leadership, and how can I show it from the point of view of one example? Okay, so do that. You will have to write about 4 to 5 drafts minimum. It will take a week, so that will take us to October 1. And after that, you can show me your personal statements, and I will finalize them. We can upload them. Yes, I will show you sample personal statements. No doubt, I'll definitely do that. In fact, I have given one document to students, and they have that document. Okay, thank you very much indeed for your time on a Sunday, and hopefully this was useful. I wish more people would have joined us today, but I understand. So thank you very much, and thank you, Mujtaba, for moderating this. It was a pleasure, and inshallah, I will see you next week with a new topic. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.